Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm just going to wait for a second for some people to jump on, possibly. So today is supposed to be Madison and Mom. Maddie and Mom Day. It's Thursday and it's Madison's day off. But I am running solo here today. So interestingly enough, the topic we chose to talk about today was finding joy in the journey. So here I am finding joy in the journey and trusting God through the challenges of life. So it's kind of funny that this is the topic today because you know what? At our house today, we haven't had a good day. So you know what? That's the way it goes sometimes. And I think it's kind of funny that this is the reality of what's happening today. I'm just going to go. There's a glare because we have sunshine today. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to go shut the curtain here. My apologies. I'm late starting. Coming. So, of course, my goal today was to jump on with Madison. Hello, Lorna. How are you doing? I love you, sister. So today was Maddie and Mom Day to jump on together. But as I was saying earlier, sometimes things happen and here we are. I am solo with no Maddie, unfortunately. She's having a rough morning. So if you all could join me and pray for Madison. I still have a glare here. I'm sorry. So I don't know where that's coming from. If you could all join me and pray for Madison, that would be amazing. So I find it interesting that my topic today was finding joy in the journey. I'm trying to get rid of that glare, but I'm not doing a very good job. So here we are. We're finding joy in the journey and trusting God through life's challenges. So I had made some notes last night because Madison and I like to go over some things before we start and, talk about things. So, I'm going to go just with whatever the Holy Ghost tells me to do. Because you know what? This morning has been a rough morning here. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not been a good morning. We've really had some things that we've been conquering here, and it's really hard to get on and talk when Madison's supposed to be beside me, and we were supposed to be, talking about joy in the journey. So here I am. I'm doing it solo, and it sucks. Because I want her here beside me, but she's struggling, and I'm just praying that God touches her this morning and rises her up. So here I am. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but this is just raw and real. This is where we're at today. So sometimes, this is from my notes. So sometimes life doesn't always go as planned. But joy isn't based on circumstances. It's found in Jesus. And the interesting thing about today was we were talking as a special needs parent, the challenges of walking through all of those things, the victories and the miracles. And, the conversation was supposed to encourage and help others to trust God and embrace joy and keep pressing forward. So that's what I want to do. So I find it interesting that, today at our house, Madison, her mind was overwhelmed and anxious about things happening. We were supposed to have an appointment this afternoon, and she just got stuck on that, and she couldn't get her mind off of it. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I'm reading the comments now. I'm sorry, guys. I've been kind of sidetracked here, but hey, Melissa and Lorna, thank you for joining. We're praying for right now is you as well. Love you both. Life is a challenge, but God is greater. That's right. So I thought, you know what? I really wanted to just press canceled and that we're not going to do this. But I thought, no, I'm going to show up and I'm going to actually let people know what it's like sometimes in the life of a special needs adult because it's hard. And you know what? Sometimes their brain isn't where it needs to be. And, here I am. So some of the key points we had were, number one was joy is more than happiness. So joy, when you think of joy, It's a deep, unshakable confidence in God's goodness, not just an emotion. So really deep down, and I thought of the verse in Nehemiah 8:10, the joy of the Lord is our strength. And I'm telling you, that's brought me through some really hard times over the years, especially being Madison's mom and seeing her struggle, because the struggle's real. Let's face it. We are hugging you both. Oh, stop. You guys are going to make me cry more. So the struggle is real. And you know what? The devil is a loser. And he doesn't stop attacking us. I've always said to Madison that, you know, the devil comes to seek, kill, and destroy, seek, kill, and destroy, seek, kill, and destroy. And he doesn't stop. He doesn't give you a free ticket to press pause. You know, he just doesn't stop. And as a mom of a special needs kid and a special needs adult, it's so crushing to see it happen, because you see them excel and you see them growing and you see them doing amazing, and then you see their mind get attacked, and it's heartbreaking for you as a mom. And you want the best for your kid, and you want them to thrive, and you want them to shine, and you want them to do their best. Oh my goodness. Thank you for all the hugs. Thank you, doctor. Thank you all. Oh my goodness. I jumped on here and I was going to be nice and strong, and here I am crying in the first 5 minutes. So good morning, Michelle. Thank you for joining. So y'all that are joining on, it's supposed to be Maddie and Mom Day, but Maddie's having a rough day, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to be raw and real. I'm going to jump on here and I'm going to talk about it, because you know what, that's the way life is. And I know people don't see this side of me, because I'm joyful 99% of the time, and I even have so much joy inside of me now because of where Madison has come from and what God's done for her. So it's like I can't let this little bleep interfere, right? Because I know God's got great plans for her, and the joy of the Lord is her strength. And I'm grounded in that. And I know it's just, you know, it's just a little bit of season. Like, it's just a day. You know, she's having a rough time. But it just sucks. You know, it really does. It really sucks. And it's not fun. But that's the reality of being a parent of a special needs kid and a special needs adult. Number 2 I had written down was trusting God when the road looks different. So letting go of expectations and embracing God's plan. And of course, Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, right? Got great plans for you, which I'm always telling Madison that. Maddie is amazing, but I'm sure you feel helpless at times. We have seen her excel. This too shall push through. Yes, and you're so right. I mean, it's just a stuck day. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to jump on here to explain to people, you know what? Caregivers, people who, you know, parents with special needs kids, they get stuck. You know what? And you know what? There is no telling when it's going to happen. No telling. And as much as she wants to be online, she wants to commit to every Thursday at 11:30 to be online with me. It's just not a reality sometimes. And as much as a mom, you know, I read this when I was writing it last night, trusting God when the road looks different. As a mom of a special needs kid, my road has looked totally different. My guide map to life has been totally different than someone that would not be a parent to a special needs kid. And so, sometimes, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how premeditated you are, how you try to think out every solution. Madison's a visual person, so writing those things down for her, having a list, having a schedule for her, so because nothing can be a surprise. She doesn't deal with surprise as well. And then anytime there's something different, then she struggles with that, right? So we have an appointment this afternoon, and she is stuck on that appointment because it's different. She doesn't want to go to it. It's not something that's regularly in her routine. So anytime that something bumps her out of her routine, she doesn't deal with it well. And as a parent, that means that we have to pick up 250% to try to make her feel calm, to try to troubleshoot anything, any anxiety that she's having, whatever thought she's stuck on, talking her through that, praying her through that, encouraging her to read her Bible herself, do her devotions herself, write in her journal herself, all those things. Right? So she needs totally different tools in her toolbox, and you can't be reactive. Some parents, are very reactive or give consequences and can scream and, do all these other forms of what other parents do. I'm so sorry for blowing my nose online here. Oh my goodness gracious. So with special needs kids, it's a very delicate walk. So my voice tone that I use, the words that I use, sometimes she can't even talk to me. It's actually communicating through her phone, through text messages. Thank you, Carmen, for praying for Madison. Thank you, Betty. Nice to have you on. So it's just a very different journey. And Madison has become a totally different person. God has just miraculously touched Madison, and it's such a blessing. So when we have days like today, it really makes me angry that I want to just keep stomping on the devil's head, because it makes me mad, because I see where God's brought her and what he's doing in her life. And it just makes me angry that the devil can get in there and a thought can get stuck. Right? And then it just creates this unglued kind of reaction that, the world is falling apart. Okay, so moving forward here, thanks for bearing with me, guys. It's raw and real today. So if anybody's just joining on now, Madison's having a bad day, but Mom decided to jump on anyway, because we said we were going to be here at 11:30, Maddie and Mom. And it's just the mom part. So this is the mom unplugged part that not a lot of people get to see. But this has been my life for 22 years with Madison. And you know what? It's a beautiful journey. And you learn to embrace the moments of wonderfulness that God gives you. Madison don't like pressure. You are right about that, Carmen. She don't like any kind of pressure. She walks to her own beat of her own drum. So number 3 was finding joy in the small moments. So celebrating progress and seeing God's hand in everyday life is actually really a huge thing for special needs kids and parents of special needs kids. Yes, all goes well. God is in control. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thanks, Betty. So, you know what? It's celebrating and making them feel like the conquerors they are, right? Because we can do all things in Christ, and just instilling that in them and reminding them. And sometimes it's writing those things writing those things down so they can visually see it. It's repeating those things to them so they can, hear it, and take that in. It's rewarding them for things that they've done that was a fear that they conquered, right? And it's celebrating that, and it's the small things. Psalms 118:24, this is the day the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad in it. So you know what? It's like we really over the years have learned to grab onto those small moments that are celebratory and find joy in them and take the moment to just embrace that, because sometimes it feels like everything is unattainable and everything is so huge. And I want to always commend and celebrate Madison for, where she's come from, what God's done for her. And, instead of getting stuck, she needs to celebrate where God's brought her and what he's doing in her life, and that she can make an impact, and she is an influence on people. And, she's got customers all the time that she's influencing at her work and coworkers, and it's so encouraging. So when I see her have a down day, it's just like, it's heartbreaking as mom. Because like I did a post earlier today, something that just fuels me is hearing Madison laugh. So when she's actually relaxed enough and calm enough that she can enjoy a moment and hear her laugh. It's everything to me as her mom, right? It's just everything. So the people that have met her at Real Talk Kim conference, like, to see that side of Madison is something I've lived through my whole life. I've lived for that moment my whole life, that as a mom, when you parent and you pour in, you want to see her thrive and enjoy herself and laugh and smile. Those are the priceless things in life that you can't take away. So you are a lovely mom, Connie. Oh, thank you, Carmen. So when I see her thriving with other people, and I see her, laughing and smiling and striking up conversations with strangers, she didn't do that for 20 years. So as a mom, I just want to stand back and watch her and celebrate her. Oh my goodness, here I am, a full snot on, blowing my nose online. Oh my goodness, you don't get any more raw and real than you do today, folks. Let me just tell you that. So having her experience those moments, I have to think of those moments of where she's come from and what God's done for her. And you know what? It's what I hang on to and what I really thank God for, because those are the moments that in my lowest of lows through 20 years of being Madison's mom, those are the moments I prayed for that God would make happen, and he has. So you know what? I am so thankful that God has given me those moments, and God is using Madison, and God has brought her so far that, you know what, today is just, it is what it is. Because with special needs kids, as much as you can plan something for a certain time, at a certain place, that could all go out the window in a heartbeat. Because you never know when they're going to get stuck on something, and their feet are dug in and they are not moving on that. I love how you love her through the ups and downs. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Her smile and laughter is contagious. I love seeing her laugh with her. Oh, she's amazing. Last retreat shining. Yeah, I know. You know what? And that's where I am so happy, because I see where God has brought her. And you're right, Carmen, the best is yet to come. And it is so exciting. Those moments are so precious. So your ups and downs, that's what we have to remind ourselves of when we're going through the good time. Yes, that's so true, Margie. It's so true. So, as much as I wanted to just sit press canceled today, here I am with all my snot nose crying. I've never seen you cry before, so this is beautiful. Well, you know what? It doesn't happen very often. It does not happen very often, because I don't let the devil steal my joy. And even though I have joy in my heart because I see what God has done for Madison and I see where he's taken her, it just makes me angry. And I just want to keep stomping on the devil's head, because moments like this, it makes me angry. I have righteous anger, because it's just it's not cool. And you know what? Devil's going to pay. So number 4 I had here, special needs, because they're so special to God. I love so special needs. They have taught me so much. So true, isn't it? It's a totally different way of understanding people, understanding the beauty in something that maybe you didn't see before, understanding the simplicity, right? And it's a real test of patience too. Oh, so I have overcoming weariness and discouragement. When exhaustion hits, God's strength carries us through. Oh my goodness, I've got too many points here. I got 6 points and I'm only on number 4, and here I am still crying. I'm sorry, everyone. Little is much when God is in it. Oh my goodness gracious. So I've never cried online, I don't think, before. So here I am, everybody. So overcoming weariness and discouragement, when the exhaustion hits, God's strength carries us through it. I can honestly say, and I had the verse Matthew 11:28, come to me all that who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And my goodness gracious, when you actually have to live, that is a lifestyle. I talk about being Madison's mom. And for 20 years, before her miracle came, because it's not every day is rosy. It's stuff we have to work at, right? And God has really done a miraculous thing in her life, and it's nothing compared to what we lived through. But before my feet hit the ground, I had to be praying before I got up in the morning. And, I would be praying for Madison. God, bless her, help her have a good day today. Help her to be happy. Help her, she's really aggressive for 28 years. I can honestly say that online. It was so horrific. It was a real attack against me, and physically aggressive that, it was really hard to be her mom. When she was beating me up so badly. And to know the miracle that God's given her today, it's uncomparable to what we were living with. But I always had to encourage myself in the Lord and know where my strength came from, because I couldn't have done it on my own. I had to be rooted in Him. And I think that's why my faith becomes so extreme. And I think that's why I have such compassion for other people to pray and believe for their miracle, because I know what it's like to be desperate. I know what it's like to be desperate for a miracle for yourself, like I talk about in my book, God touching and healing me of cancer. I know what it's like to be desperate to believe for a miracle for somebody else. When you're living with a person that's trying to rob you of your joy, that's really getting an attack, mentally. And it is so hard to keep finding your strength to go on. And if that strength isn't coming from the Lord, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be here today. There is no way I would have lived through it. Oh my goodness, here's another snotty nose. Okay, so God has been my strength all this time. He's my strength today. He's been my strength for the whole 22 years being Madison's mom, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love her with an unconditional love, and I'm so excited to see what God is doing for her. So anyway, overcoming weariness and discouragement, it's there, but we can't dwell on it. We have to look for joy in Jesus. And, that's why I am normally always so happy, because I have so much to be thankful for. And I have God to thank for that, because God has given me that unspeakable joy, right? That comes from the depth of my stomach, to know that, when I have a bad day, I know everything's going to be all right, right? Everything is going to be all right, because God is my source. And without God in my life, I am nothing. Without God in my life directing me to help parent Madison, I would be a fumbling mess. I'm telling you, I have to pray about everything. God's given me supernatural creative ideas over the years to how to parent and get Madison through. And it's only been through Him. And that's why I want to, start writing the kids' books and doing stuff to help other people with special needs kids, because it's just stuff that I discovered that was just like a key that unlocked things for Madison to go to the next level. I lived through that with my mom and her mental illness. Oh, God bless you, doctor. Mental illness is very hard, and it's something that's very real out there, and you just want people to be healed and delivered and walk in that healing that God has for them. Because it's really hard to watch, and it's really heartbreaking to see somebody that you love so much struggle. It is. It's really hard. One love, one heart. Let's get together to be all right. Yeah, that's a good song, Carmen. Okay, so number 5 was choosing joy daily. Practical ways to shift perspective, worship, gratitude, and community is what I had written down. So I know from my life of being a mother of a special needs child for 22 years with Madison. The last 2 years have been a cakewalk compared to the 20 before that, because God's miraculously touched Madison. But today we're having an off day. Hey, Lori, thanks for joining us. So choosing to be happy, choosing to fill myself up with joy, choosing to find joy in the journey. It's just like being diagnosed with cancer. Oh my goodness. I had, snot nose crying during that season also. Not everybody's seen it. right? Because I chose joy and I kept stomping on the devil's head. And you know what? I wasn't going to give in to it. So you know what? We can still cry, but have joy inside of us because that joy comes from Jesus. And, you know, like Karma says, like, everything's going to be all right, right? We know that God has got us, right? So there's going to be seasons that are crap, you know? It's like you can be on the mountaintop, but there's also the valley. So it's just life. It's ebbs and flows. It's up and down. It's mountaintops and it's valleys. But we have to choose joy through it all. So you might be crying, you know, and you might not particularly be celebrating in a season or a day, in a moment. But you know what? That doesn't mean that you can't have joy. And no, it's just like God gives you that peace that passes all understanding. And when you have that, it's just like, that's what grounds you. That's what makes you know that everything is going to be okay, right? It's just like, wow, you know what, God, I'm glad you got me because I couldn't do this on my own. So it's Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice, right? Sometimes we have to talk ourselves into it. Sometimes we have to pray ourselves through it. Sometimes we just have to turn on the worship music. And you know what? Sometimes we just have to say nothing. Say nothing. You know what I mean? And just like listen. It's like, okay, God, I need you to fill me up right now because my tank is empty. You know what? And he is the tank filler, right? He is the one that can do it, right? So, you know, sometimes we just need to be quiet in that moment and be like, Lord, I need you to fill me up right now, right? Fill me up till I overflow. So there's those moments where it's just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to choose joy. I'm still with that cough. Oh, get that cough out in Jesus' name, Carmen. We're done with the cough, aren't we? It's been such a hard winter. I think that's too. It's like, you know, up and down, the weather and all kinds of things. And I know for special needs kids and, you know, it's the week of the time change. And you know what? The reality is that has always affected Madison. It's like between Christmas and her birthday in February is this really hard season that, you know what? It's just the way it's always been because there's that change in the routine. And, you know, people think that an hour time change is not a lot. But you know what? When you are in a regimented routine and you're a special needs kid and you depend on things being at a certain time and she's got everything clocked out to, you know, 5 minutes, you know what? That hour is a big deal. So it seems like it's always a struggle to kind of, get over that time change. Anyway, I'm babbling here. So thanks for joining me in my babble. Love you all. Okay, so number 6 was encouragement for parent and families. A reminder that God's grace is enough and his joy is available to all. 2 Corinthians 12:9, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Well, praise the Lord, because I'm not finding that today. So how true is that? And what a great reminder that, you know, God is our source and his grace is sufficient for me. And whatever I'm going through, you know, he's giving me the power to get through it. You know, he is pulling me through it. I think of all the rough times in my life that I've been through. And I mean, it was God that was pulling me through it, right? It's just like, I am so blessed and so thankful to know him and have God at the center of my life because I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be the mother that I am today. Oh my goodness, look at my jacket's falling off here. Sorry, guys. Connie unplugged today. So, you know what? I just wanted to jump on and be raw and real. And here it's already 12 o'clock. I don't even know how I got through that half an hour, but thanks y'all for listening. And you know what? I know Madison is actually going to feel bad that she missed this. She's going to be annoyed with herself that she couldn't conquer it and get online. And I feel for her and I want you guys to all pray with her, you know, pray for her today. And you know what? I just want to get over this. And, you know, I just find it hilarious that the topic we, chose last night was finding joy in the journey, trusting God through life's challenges. And I find it just hilarious how God allowed this to happen today so that I can jump on here and be real with you through and tears and snot nose and everything else to say, you know what? Connie is plugged in. Oh, thank you, Lorna. Saying hi to Betty, everybody on here. But you know what? I just think, you know what? It is what it is. Life doesn't always go as planned. You know what? As much as we try to have the manual of doing our best, and what God has given us, you know, the number one manual is His Word. And that's why I'm here today, is we stand on the Word, right? So we don't get discouraged about these, you know, little bleeps on the map, because everybody's, you know, Mama told me there'd be days like these. Not every day is a 10, you know. So we just have to push through, right? Keep speaking the Word. Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans God has for you, Connie, and they're good. Same with Madison, and they're good. And she knows that, because I've said that to her for so many years. But sometimes we get into our stinking thinking, and you know what? Devil starts whispering stuff, and you know what? Sometimes it's just hard to turn it off, right? So I'm here to tell you today that God loves you, and He's got a special plan for your life. And even through the muck and the junk and the funk, as my friend Tasha says, the muck, the funk, and the junk, that God has great plans for us. And He is for us. He's not against us. And He is the joy giver and the Jesus injector. And He is the one that I live for. And you know what? He's the one that gives me joy deep down inside of me. Hey, Ann, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. And Lori. So I just want to encourage you all that, you know what? Mama told me there'd be days like this, and they suck, and there's nothing getting around it. But little is much when God is in it. And let me tell you, God is my everything. That's why I said I'm a storyteller for Jesus. I love Jesus. I love the testimonies He's given me. And you know what? I'm going to shout it from the rooftop. And today, you know what? It happened the way it was supposed to happen. Here I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to talk about joy in the journey. And Madison and I had all these points. And, you know, I still talked about joy in the journey, but it was just a little bit different than I expected. So I thank you all for joining me today. And now I'm babbling, so I'm going to move on. And I'm going to go check on Maddie. And I'm going to pray you all have a great day. And I'm going to pray, you know, anyone out there that's struggling as a caregiver, as a parent of a special needs child, you know, it's such a struggle with special needs children that are younger. And, you know, the struggles are so real. And even before their brain is more developed and that, the things that they go through, it's such a struggle. And, you know, they need prayer, and they need to be wrapped in Jesus. And, you know, but Jesus is where our joy comes from, and He is the joy giver. And, you know, I am so excited that I know Him. And I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you for the hugs. Thank you for the love. Thank you for listening to me talk through blowing my nose and being real. Beauty for ashes. That's right. That's right. And you know what? Just be encouraged that, you know, God has done so many amazing things for me. I just, you know what, I want to leave you with that, you know, some days are going to be bad days. And what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about that? We're going to just lay down and let the devil kick us in the teeth and, you know, throw us down the river? No, we're going to stand up, and we're going to claim, and we're going to take back what's ours, right? So I want to love you and leave you and give her hugs from all of us. I will. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, Carmen and Wendy and Lori. Thank you, everybody, for being so encouraging, listening to me. We'll jump back on, but you know what? Just pray for, you know, those special people when you're out in public or wherever you come into contact with people. There could be people in your church that, you know, parents of special needs kids, and the kids themselves, and special needs adults. And you know what? Sometimes they're extra, and they need extra. And you know what? Just pray that God touches them in a special way and just gives them tokens from heaven, right? 'Cause some days are difficult. Some days are crappy. You know, and sometimes they just need a little bit of extra to fill their tank and to make them smile. So anyway, I am going to say goodbye because it's 12:05, and I'm praying you all have a happy Thursday. So thank you for joining me and listening to all my funk and the junk and the muck, as Tasha would say. And I will talk to you soon, and I'll see you on the next live. Okay, talk to you soon. Hugs from Canada.